When Nigeria returned to democratic rule in 1979, after over a decade of military governments, the air was filled with hope. The people had grown tired of coups, curfews, and soldiers running the nation. They wanted freedom. They wanted democracy. And leading that new chapter was a humble man from the small village of Shagari in Sokoto State, Alhaji Shehu Usman Aliyu Shagari. Born in 1925, Shagari started as a teacher, then became a politician in the First Republic, serving as a minister in several capacities. He was calm, soft-spoken, and deeply respected. When Nigeria held its first democratic election in 1979, his party, the National Party of Nigeria, won. Shagari became Nigeria's first executive president. It was a new dawn. The green and white flag waved proudly as the military, led by General Olusegun Obasanjo, handed over power peacefully to a civilian. For the first time, Nigerians believed that democracy had truly come to stay. But behind the joy and celebration, challenges were waiting. Nigeria's economy was still heavily dependent on oil, and though the 1970s oil boom brought wealth, corruption quietly grew alongside it. Contracts were inflated, ghost projects were everywhere, and many politicians saw public office as a path to quick riches. Still, Shagari remained focused. He launched the Green Revolution, an ambitious program to boost food production and reduce dependence on imports. He also invested in housing and industries, trying to create jobs for the growing population. However, the global oil market soon collapsed in the early 1980s. With falling oil prices came inflation, unemployment, and debt. Public frustration began to rise. Electricity became unreliable, roads deteriorated, and imported goods became scarce. Critics accused the government of mismanagement and corruption. Even Shagari's loyal supporters began to question his leadership. In 1983, Nigeria went back to the polls for another election. The NPN was declared the winner again, returning Shagari to power. But this time, the joy was gone. Many opposition parties cried foul, claiming the election was rigged. The political atmosphere became tense, filled with anger, suspicion, and unrest. And then, just a few months after his re-election, on December 31, 1983, the military struck again. Major General Muhammadu Buhari led a coup that toppled Shagari's government. The announcement echoed through radio stations across the country. The Second Republic was over. Shagari was arrested and placed under house arrest, accused of corruption and poor leadership. Though never personally found guilty of any crime, his presidency became a symbol of unfulfilled dreams. Once again, Nigeria's democracy had fallen to the boots of soldiers. Yet, despite everything, Shehu Shagari remained peaceful and dignified. He never sought revenge, and in his later years, he became a voice of wisdom for younger politicians. He lived a long, quiet life until his death in 2018 at the age of 93. His story reminds us that democracy is fragile and must be protected. It tells of a nation that tried to rise, stumbled, but refused to give up. Because even after every fall, Nigeria always finds the strength to stand again.